Take a few minutes and talk about the spirogram and a visual depiction of lung volumes, and showing lung volumes and showing the relationship between some of the different lung volumes. And then once we discuss volumes, we'll go back and talk about capacities and discuss capacities and how they fit into this picture. So hopefully at this point you recognize the term tidal volume, and tidal volume is our normal quiet breathing. So we're going to start here at this baseline. Our lungs have air in them at rest, but we're adding more air. So we're going to start at this point, breathe in. So this is inspiration, and then breathe out. So that is expiration, going down. So normal quiet breathing, in and out, and in for normal quiet breathing. And we know we certainly can take in a bigger breath than our resting tidal volume, so we can breathe in deeper, deeper, fill our lungs with air up to this point, and then once our lungs are full, we can exhale back down to our resting tidal volume again. So there's some reserve. There's some reserve volume where we can breathe in additional air, and that reserve specifically in this case is the inspiratory reserve volume. And of course we already defined, hopefully, the tidal volume here. And at the end of this inspiratory maneuver through our reserve, we'll exhale and just breathe normal again. Normal quiet breathing. In the same way that we can inhale more than our normal breath, we certainly can exhale more than our normal breath, and exhale down to a point where it feels like our lungs are empty, and then inhale again and resume that normal quiet breathing. But there's also some reserve volume on the expiratory side, and we term that the expiratory reserve volume on exhalation, compared to the inspiratory reserve volume on the inspiratory side here. Alright, so then normal quiet breathing again resumes. Here, normal quiet breathing. And at this point, we're going to shift over and talk about some capacities. Now, by definition, a capacity is two or more volumes added together. So here we have the end of a normal inhalation. We may ask our patient to take in a deep breath, and this is the maneuver that I showed in class. Take in a big deep breath. That, of course, is our inspiratory reserve. And then exhale that breath. Continue to exhale through the tidal volume. Continue to exhale into the expiratory reserve volume till it feels like our lungs are empty, and then breathe normal again. Okay, so we resume this normal quiet breathing. So this is our inspiratory reserve, this is our tidal volume, this is our expiratory reserve volume. So I'm adding these three together. Inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume is the vital capacity. Alright, now I'm going to come back over here. There's the volume of air. There's some residual that's left in the lungs after we feel like our lungs are empty, and we term that the residual volume. So that's at the end when we've blown out all the air we can, but we haven't quite reached zero, and that's termed the residual volume. So here's another capacity from the residual volume through and including the expiratory reserve volume. This is our functional residual capacity. So that goes from this point all the way down to if our lungs actually were literally empty. So our functional residual capacity equals the expiratory reserve volume plus the residual volume. Alright, another capacity here we need to touch on is our inspiratory capacity. And our inspiratory capacity is from the end of a normal exhalation. And we inhale, and we continue to inhale up through our inspiratory reserve, so up to this point. So our inspiratory capacity goes from this point all the way up to this point. So our inspiratory capacity then equals our inspiratory reserve volume plus our tidal volume. Alright, so we've got one left, one more, and this is our total lung capacity. So this is our lungs are full and our lungs are all the way empty, taking into account all the volumes added together, and we term that the total lung capacity. So total lung capacity equals our inspiratory reserve volume starting at the top plus our tidal volume plus our expiratory reserve volume plus that last little bit, our residual volume. I hope that improves your understanding of the spirogram and the relationship between the volumes and the capacities.